Well, I know what I'm doing tonight. But I was supposed to do something else. I think I was supposed to talk about a video game to myself. Let's see, where is it? Yeah. Guess we could do this one. Barrow Hill is a point-and-click adventure game released in 2006. Created by indie developer Shadow Tor Studios. Like a lot of these titles, fans of similar games really enjoyed it. All the websites you'd expect to like it, liked it. And as expected, GameSpot just fucking tears it to shreds. It got the same treatment Scratches did. In Barrow Hill, nobody can hear you yawn. I see. It's because it's a play on the tagline from the 1979 film Alien. He uses phrases like grade Z production values, suicidally dull story, old school stutter step adventure, bottom drawer. It wouldn't be a GameSpot review without a snarky prose list. It eventually ends. Christ, it must feel so good to be this kind of reviewer. The guy that pokes at small, heartfelt productions and laughs at it. Ha! Fuck you for making a game you cared about on a shoestring budget. You fucking waste. You piece of garbage. You dummy. It makes me think, like, I've been hard on some games. Black Mirror comes to mind. And I stand by my criticism of the game. Some adventure games can be silly and make goofy mistakes, but you know what? I still enjoyed the experience. It was still memorable and fun. That was maybe my third time playing it. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a fan of this genre. Either way, I'm not gonna be a jerk butt, or at least I'll try not to be. Cards on the table, I might be. Barrow Hill begins with our nameless, genderless, faceless protagonist showing up in the small, mostly uninhabited area of Barrow Hill in Cornwall, England. Local pirate radio DJ Emma Harry informs you that the autumn equinox begins tonight.
And you've got 12 hours of darkness ahead.
Once across the threshold into Barrow Hill, your car stalls, leaving you stranded. That's still no reason to leave it running with the lights on, but I guess we were impatient to get the show on the road. Barrow Hill is a small area that's mostly wilderness. The last bastion of civilization is made up of a gas station, a cafe, and a small motel, all of which seem to have been hastily abandoned. We don't really have a motive or a backstory for being here in the first place, but whatever the case, we were on our way somewhere and now we're stuck here, as the way we came seems to be blocked off by an invisible force. So I guess we gotta figure this shit out if we wanna go, I don't know, murder our abusive stepfather, whatever we were doing. Whatever, why are you asking so many questions? The service station is empty, save for a single man named Ben, who's locked himself inside an office in the cafe. Ben is not having a great day. He rambles incoherently about something hunting him, about awakening something ancient that took everyone. Ben is a source of clues most of the time. If you're stuck, it may prove helpful to check on him and listen to his rantings. The only other person left in the area is Emma, from the radio, and you never really run into her. But you do call her on your Nokia brick that doubles as a somewhat advanced video chat device. Not to rag on this game or others from this group of creators, but I've noticed that they take great lengths to limit your interaction with other characters, opting to speak to people solely on phones or in awkward close-ups with minimal animation. I wonder if it was a creative decision or if it's just a little too much of a headache. At this point, I like the story. It's minimal, it's mysterious, and it could go anywhere from here. Emma is a unique and likable character, trying to maintain her radio show and be helpful despite something malevolent taking hold of Barrow Hill.
Ahoy, mateys, this is BHR.
Ben is fun as well. I'm a fan of psychologically broken characters. I see something in them. There's a very Lovecraftian vibe to him, in that he's the only one we can talk to that's seen whatever is out there, and that just the sight of it pretty much immediately broke him.
I heard it. They were... and it... oh my god!
I like how subtle this part of the game is. Even if it's the most talky and reedy, I'm not as keen on the remaining 2/3 of the game though. You quickly learn about an archaeological dig taking place in some nearby ruins, and there are these two archaeologists that stay here, one of which is slowly losing it and perhaps being influenced by the stone formations.
No one will find them now. I have scattered them. The voices told me no one will know what they are or where they came from.
It's by no means original, and ordinarily that wouldn't bug me. It does bug me that they kind of show and tell you everything long before the game ends. Maybe it's because this game is non-linear, you have a lot of freedom in how you go about exploring the game, and you're gonna have a lot of answers given to you right off the bat. And the answers you're given, like, what is this thing that's terrorizing Barrow Hill, is almost amusingly disappointing. I mean, they make it work as much as they can, but I liked it a lot more when I had to fill in the blanks myself. I might just be easy, but early on, I was pretty invested. There's even a moment where I thought something had happened to one of the characters, and I was genuinely upset. I thought they Game of Thrones to me. The characters don't really end up having anything meaningful develop for them though. They ultimately serve as tropes. The story elicited some measure of suspense and tension for me until I saw what I was actually up against and what the stakes were. Then I was just like, yeah, I guess this is a problem. Might as well. Barrow Hill's gameplay differs from some point-and-click games in its non-linear structure, but from a control standpoint, it's nothing surprising. There are a few puzzles and the majority of your time is spent exploring. This section of the game is pretty simple and nice. The last segment of the game sort of abandons this though, and the rest of your time is spent pixel hunting through a dark forest for berries and mushrooms. For future reference, I think it might be difficult to pull off a horror mystery story wherein the climax consists of piecing together a recipe. Skyrim features a lot of ingredient collecting, but it's not the end goal of the plot. The returning threat of dragons will not be squelched by a basket of various flora and fauna. It's not really fun. That's not to say that I don't think it can't be done in a way that's fun. This is just not that way. I do like that there are what seems like randomized threats that show up and require you to leave and avoid an area for a while, because attempting to continue will kill you. Dying doesn't seem to yield any punishment. You're pretty much respawned a few steps back. You know, a lot of famous video games feature a silent protagonist, and I'm not sure how much I like it. Especially in games like this one, where the ability to speak would be advantageous to getting out of this situation. Why would Emma call you several times if you never speak a goddamn word? What is she getting out of this transaction? Who reacts this way? In bigger budget games, there's sometimes dialogue commenting on it like, strong silent type, eh? That's cool. I don't think it's cool. It's rude. Emma is wandering the forest afraid. Why can't I say like, hey, come over here. Let's figure this shit out together. I'll help you? I don't know. It's such a common thing, but I guess I just gotta live with it. This isn't a game that goes for scares often. It's got a lot of all-around spooky vibes, but there isn't much in the way of... What the fuck? Asshole bird! When playing a point-and-click adventure, it shouldn't surprise you that a lot of them look a little temporally confused, shall we say. This doesn't look like most games that came out in 2006. But not many games were pieced together with pre-rendered scenes, as adventure games are one to do. When compared to other games in the genre, it's certainly not the best. Some scenes look great, they got little touches of animation, and others are littered with overly simple objects and unfortunate font choices. It's a mixed bag. Characters are, in an odd choice, animated differently. Why did I do it like that? Like I am running some kind of radio show. Ben is comprised of a series of photos that jump around, and it's fun. It's a silly character, and he's animated in a silly, fun way. Emma is animated in a similar way, but at a slower frame rate. It's slightly jarring to hear her express fear or panic, all while maintaining the same calm expression.
Come here. Where are you going? Quincy? Quincy? Quincy?
Voice work is, well, it's something. I like it for this game. And as much as I am a fan of Jonathan Boakes, who voices Ben, he's hit or miss with acting. And in Barrow Hill, he plays a big crazy character, so he sounds like he had fun with it. I doubt I could do it any better. I'll give it a shot. Hey, you out there? Okay. That was fucking stupid. I like him being there. He's a familiar face. I think the audio effects stand out in this title. I liked walking through the forest and hearing the rustling of branches, the snapping of a twig. And I like that most phones produce ghostly whispers, even though that's silly and ghosts don't use phones. Watch. Look, it's it's usually not that bad. I think this game has the ability to be atmospheric. It comes and it goes, though. It's got... God damn it! He did it again! Ooh, that bird. Barrow Hill is not the most remarkable or original adventure game out there. I'd say that more than the horror and adventure elements, what comes out most is just fun. It's sort of goofy, and it isn't played straight. There is a lot of humor to be found in it, and the majority of it seems to be intentional. I'm not one for assigning numeric values to experiences, but I don't feel like a 2.6 would reflect it. There's a lot of potential in the story, but it gets a little bogged down by history lessons and recipes, and then it just kind of stops and you're left without a feeling of resolution. The ending is treated like we may as well have just had a flat tire and then fixed it. Like, well, guess we better get where we're going. The gameplay is solid, save for the tedious and laborious collecting. It was fun exploring this area and unlocking all of its secrets, though. Some of the animations and graphics aren't as pleasing as others, but it's never egregious enough to take me out of the game. There are certainly better examples of adventure games, but that shouldn't discredit the work that went into this game and its occasional successes. It's alright! So if you like this sort of thing, have at it. If this looks like just the worst, shittiest, dumbest of not good game, then probably don't play it.